everyone, my name is Elisa and today I'll be helping you draw SpongeBob today. So here's an image of SpongeBob that I pulled up on my laptop, and I often like to start off with like the obscure places on a character, so I'm going to start off with his side here. So I'm going to just draw his little sponge ridges. So just drawing the side of his body until we reach his sleeve, where you draw this bell-like structure because that's his little sleeve. And then his arm is stick straight, so we want to just make sure that it's a nice parallel lines going on here. And then he's kind of got like ballish little hands. Kind of messed up that hand there, but it's okay. And then you can complete the side of his body up to the front. So then I like to finish by drawing his torso, which is very stick straight. So we want to make sure that when we draw it, we have these nice even lines. You can take a ruler if you'd like, if you want to be even more precise, but as long as you just achieve that really tight box-like look, you'll be able to draw that. We're going to draw his tie, which goes something like this, and he has very strict triangles for lapels, so we want to make sure that we draw those too. And then for his belt, all you have to do are just draw these really easy rectangles, sorry, not triangles. And there you go, you have his pants. So then we're trying to draw, not like that, but we're going to draw the shorts of his pants, which are like this. They kind of look like little bulbs. And then his legs, just like his arms, are very stick straight. So we want to make sure that they're nice and parallel when we draw them. Again, you can use a ruler if you'd like, if you want more precision. And then his socks are pretty self-explanatory. They're just a couple lines. And then his shoes, they're very big, so we want to make sure that the proportions are kind of exaggerated here. So when it often comes to tighter shapes like this, I try and sketch them out first and then fill in as I go. Since they're mostly black, all you have to do is color around the white dot that kind of shows the glimmer of his shoes. So I will do the same thing. Again, you want to make sure that your shapes are tight. If you're having any difficulties trying to get the shape of a particular part, I often like to hold my paper up to my screen so I can be able to understand like where the proportions are, but you often don't want to just directly transfer from there because you want to be able to test how you can do it on your own. So we're just completing the rest of his face. Just going to tighten that up here. Kind of made that area a little too smooth, but we also want to remember he is a sponge, so he needs to be a little more ridgy. So his second sleeve is kind of in the same area as his first sleeve right here. So we want to make sure that when we draw things that they're in the proper proportions to the rest of the body. So we're going to make a sleeve here. It has a little opening here for his other arm, which again also has that very stick straight sort of look. Then we're going to make these really animated looking hands. he only has 4 fingers, so we want to make sure that we do justice to those 4 fingers. So that's one of his hands and that's the other. So now onto the harder part, his face. So we want to make sure that the facial features are properly in proportion to the rest of his body. So I often will probably start with like the side holes on his face. So I'm going to probably just draw those in very lightly. Because that will help you frame the rest of his face. So. And then he has a couple on the side that are a little darker. Great, now all we have to do is now draw the eyes, which are very bright and circular. So often with this one, that's not good. Often with these, we want to make sure that they're really round because you can see they're very, very, very circular. So it's often good to just sketch them out like this before you actually do it. Again, you can erase when needed. If you feel like you overestimated where certain facial features are, you can always like fix it. You never want to go too dark onto your paper with your pencil or pen if you're using a pen, because you want to be able to fix what you've done if you make a mistake. Now he has a little bit of his cheek coming up here. He has a very wide smile, so we want to make sure that his cheek has a little curve right here, just a little half circle. He has tiny, tiny freckles, so we don't want to ignore those. And when you finally see that the face or the eyes are coming together, you can draw in his pupils, which would look like this. Again, we want to make sure that they are proportional to where they are in the picture. So that is one of them. And now onto his nose. So his nose kind of overlaps this eye right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually erase a little bit of it so I can make room for his nose. It's a little more curved at the bottom, so it kind of sticks out and then curves up like this. And then has a sharp turn right here that curls up into his cheek to where that little half circle of the cheek was. And we can always fix the proportions. But we're gonna go down to finish the mouth. And he has those quintessential buck teeth that we always love to see. And then that's like his chin line, and then there's his tongue. Now, this is just a preliminary sketch of SpongeBob, but this is basically how you would draw SpongeBob.